lots and lots of layers of colors. The more layers, like on this guy, instead of being, sorry, black starling, I added about 4 different colors to make black, and it makes it much deeper, more of a depth, and it's just richer in color. Well, I've been drawing and painting since I was a kid, but I worked for the Forest Service for 30 years doing GIS and fighting fires and such, so painting was always on the sideline. I do like 1 painting a year, but now I retired a couple years ago, so now I have a little more time to spend doing this, and I've just recently got into relief printing, and I spent about 10 years doing ceramics, and I did some large format acrylics like this before, and it was a lot of fun. So it's been a few years since I've done this, so it's fun to get back into it.
So this box is named Journeys because all the creatures on here are kind of, going somewhere. There's movement and travel, and his little friend, the dragonfly, is taking him up the river. And then the fish on the side are also like swimming up the river. And because people are exiting and coming into Missoula, and everybody loves, water sports and fishing, and then the back, because Missoula is such like a garden city. I used to do really big murals. I'd be on a ladder on top of a van, like up in a building, and I did, over the city of Kingston, this whole side of a utility building for the City of Kingston Revitalization Project. And so I've always loved, I can really translate up really big. So I get to use my big giant chunky brushes, makes me very happy. Just to even do this,
This neat vinyl wrap appearance, pretty simple, honestly. It wasn't too complex. You just design stuff in Photoshop. I mean, the real difficulty was that they make you make a scale model prior to even receiving notification that you're going to be on the committee or on the project or whatever. But then scaling it up, like those boxes are not at all close to what you're actually working with, so you have to readjust and redesign basically your whole design to make it work. So like with something like this, like I try to make a subtle statement, like about structure and development, architecture, the changing of a landscape, and it's subtle, so most people who drive by are just like, ooh, a teepee, versus if you look at the back and start thinking about it in the context of development and the changes that we go through. As we enter the more and more digital age and we spend more and more time in these virtual worlds, I think there's a conversation somewhere in there to be had as well.
I think the majority of it I'm going to get done today and tomorrow. Like I like to just kind of do a marathon and just push everything out that I have. But yeah, I think Wednesday that'll be the final touches and the last hurrah. We definitely had raccoons. They always cracked me up. They were never animals I could never fully get used to. But yeah, I think at the same time animals that I never really got sick of either. They're greedy, they're loving, they're happy, I don't know, they're kind of everything everything that kind of is comical to me. It's all kind of summed up in one little happy animal. In general, I've been painting ever since, probably middle school and high school. You always do it kind of for fun assignments. But I never really got into it until, I think, probably my last year of high school. And I did my first oil painting, and I think from there I just fell in love with it.
And I didn't realize it was open to the public. I found that very exciting. I think that's a very good feature of this project, that that anybody can apply. So it was intimidating to put it all together because I didn't know what the expectations were, but it was also very fun. It was a very fun challenge to do.
All the artists that are interested should have an opportunity to do that, to go through that process, and have a little piece in our community. I think Missoula values art.
When I was selected to have one of my designs be on a traffic signal box, I was super excited. I kind of messed up the process because I made my model the wrong way. I didn't color it because I thought it was a redundant idea to have to color what I was then going to have to color on a large scale.
I absolutely adore Courtney Blazon downtown. The piece that wraps around the pole, I really enjoy that one.
It's nice because the box is is facing the Higgins Bridge, so that was a good place for it to be. So people can look at the bridge and the collapsed bridge on the traffic signal box. Plus, I get to do period sort of outfits and stuff, which I enjoy drawing.
Something that you create in your brain and then put it in a little project and then see it on a public street in a great big size was just so fun. And I think they were just excited for me because of that. That took a little more time. I wanted it to be perfect, and I really made sure it was totally square and just totally a nice, very nice box. But after I saw everybody else's, I realized it didn't have to be that perfect. However, I think it gave me maybe a little bit of a advantage because it showed that I could put something together artistically. I love that we live in a city where there's such a low crime rate that we can actually do a project like the signal boxes because there's not a lot of vandalism, at least that I've seen on the boxes that I know of. And I think people need to be aware of that and really appreciate that. We live in a great city, and public art is just part of it.
So I think for me, like it's something that's more a reflection of what it is, kind of the feel. I wanted to get kind of a feel of the actual colors, a feel of the actual, just the kind of freeness of Missoula, and I think they will.
You know, you don't have to be precise, you don't have to be totally accurate, it just comes together, and everybody's so unique and so different on how they express themselves. I just love seeing all the different artists' work. One guy stopped and said, "So, did you paint all these boxes?" I'm like, no. But yeah, just to see all the different expressions that people have, way of expressing their art, it's fun.
This is one of my favorite guys. It's kind of a medium chunky brush, but I love it. It just makes me happy. And just, really rough house brushes, and then some detailed artist brushes for some of the little fine bits.
I've always wanted to keep painting until I got bored of it, and I just never, I think 15 years later, I'm still not bored with it. So it's, definitely my passion.
It was done many years ago, I have to say. I come to think of it, like now, if I was to do the same thing again, I probably would have done something completely different. But I think during that time period, I was really into using just lots of cartoon characters and separating them out. And I have to say that the northern one was the easiest piece because it is just characters. It came out really naturally. I wanted to celebrate our community just in a purely recreational way. And growing up here, I was very familiar with the recreation and I enjoyed it. But for whatever reason, the characters weren't separate. So the whole thing, the whole project was a wraparound where all the pieces were intermingling with one another, and I just remember that not coming out. It came out fine in the end, but I remember that being a little bit more difficult. But I'm a lot more happier with those colors on that particular piece.
It takes a lot of time pre-prep, like just coming up with these things and then working through all the kinks of especially when you go around to the back, there's all kinds of bumps and weird edges and stuff. And the people at the sign shop are pretty good about working through those kinks and helping me work through those kinks.
More color, more paint. Last year I did a solid one, but it is just, more the merrier, I think, as far as the artwork. We'll just have to protect the heck out of it.
And how are you doing that? Are you putting a clear coat on top?
Yes, there's going to be sort of a clear gloss that'll protect it from the clear coat, and then more clear coat, and more clear coat, and more clear coat till it's just dripping.
In certain spots I can hit heavy, like the colors, I could just layer it and just not worry too much about about light washes. But once I get to the animals, though, it's going to be really kind of a light, more water mixed in with the color. So it's going to get more of like a kind of a glaze feel, glaze look. So it should look more three-dimensional.
So for future artists, I would just like to say, be yourself. That's what I would like to see. Not even just, folks that come here or from other places or grew up here, whatever it is, I would like to see your personality come through, because that's what makes a good community, is all our different types of individuals. And I guess in some ways I do see the traffic signal boxes as kind of like an extension of different individuals that live here.
I think anybody should go for it and try it. I think the year I did it, there were 15 submissions, and out of those 5 were chosen. So the odds are great. And it doesn't take any real professional skills, obviously, because I did it. And I think if you've got any inclination toward having big art piece out there with your name on it, then go for it. I
couldn't ask for a better experience. They've been very, very open, very encouraging, and just the entire time. I met Kathy yesterday. Very warm, very receptive. I couldn't have asked for a better experience.
It's worth it, and once you do it once, the second time around it's easy because you have the model to look at.
I mean, do everything. That's the best way to, oops, sorry. Do everything for sure. Just like, it's better to do it than not do it and just feel conflicted. I don't know, you know what I mean? You should experience everything you can and try everything you can. And when opportunities arise as an artist, you should take them.
The community is amazing. Missoula loves the arts and music and theater, and everyone's just so happy you're out just making a little piece that much more beautiful. Everyone's been so gracious and lovely. Yeah, we really live in a good town.